Hey everyone, Charlene Ortiz here. I'm just coming back from the gym. Just finished my workout. And I wanted to do another car video. And I'm really starting to enjoy these because, I don't know, it makes me feel like I have someone to talk to while I'm driving home. Either way, I did want to thank the people that commented on my last video that I did on Amberlyn. It was refreshing to see that there are still a lot of people that aren't buying it, and that's one reason I really like going to Sabine Davis's channel, as well as Shaquana Jefferson or Shannon, because they number one, they don't buy it, you know. They see that it's a bunch of bullshit. Number two, that most of the people in their comment section also don't buy it. And so I appreciate that. And it's not because I don't want to see her do well. It's not because I don't want her to succeed. The reason I don't want people to be supporting her is because I do want her to succeed. And unfortunately, in order for her to succeed, she does have to hit a rock bottom, and you know, she has not. And so you know, even if Amberlyn was sincere, let's just say for argument's sake, she really was sincere. The reality is, because she has gotten absolutely zero treatment, zero psychiatric help, not seeing a doctor of any kind or anything like that, even though she claims she saw the bariatric surgery. I mean, obviously we didn't see the paperwork. She just said she got it. The weigh-ins, in my opinion, were manipulated. I mean, she wasn't wearing pants. I mean, come on. Anyway, like, she needed a reason why Becky couldn't show her, like, her full body standing on the scale. She needed a reason for that, so they could somehow manipulate it. But either way, even if she was sincere, because she is, again, making a substantial amount of money from YouTube, the temptation, you know, to go to her addiction is just too great because the money is there. You know, so again, the only real way that she's going to change is if, you know, she stops making the money she's making. Again, isn't going to happen. A lot of people are buying into it, and it's just going to kill her even faster. Or number two, if she really was sincere and she really did want to get help, that she would go, you know, start psychiatric treatment. And I am 100% positive, maybe not 100, I say 99.9%, because you never know, positive that if she did go see a psychiatrist, they would tell her, get off of YouTube. Get off of YouTube and focus on your health. You know, and so, again, if she was truly, sincerely changing, and we were really seeing, you know, a different side where she was finally going to get her life together, we wouldn't be seeing it. We wouldn't be seeing it at all. We would see it maybe a few months or a year from now or something. She would come back and say, I decided to focus on my mental health, and I was advised to get off of YouTube, and she would have listened. But again, I don't know. People want to believe it, and I get why, but it's not it, guys. It's not it. And I just want to make this quick reference, and then I'm going to get off this topic. But I don't know if any of you have ever seen the movie The Incredibles. I absolutely love that movie. I love both of them. But there's a scene at the end of the movie, and there's often a lot of scenes like this in action movies, whatever, that are similar. But there's a scene in the movie where they're fighting this giant robot at the end of the movie, and he wants to do something. I forget what it was they needed to do to destroy the robot. There's a certain step or something they needed to take, and the wife, I think it was the wife, kept saying, no, wait, don't do it. It seems like the right time. It seems like right now is the perfect time, but it's not. Trust me, just wait. And sure enough, he listened to her. They, you know, did whatever they needed to do. The robot got destroyed, and yay, you know, it was a happy ending. that's how I feel with this whole situation with Amberlyn. It seems like the right time, but it's not. There will be a right time. Hopefully, you know, hopefully there will be a right time. But it's not now. Now is not the right time. Now is the time to just not give her any attention at all, and see if she continues, if she's not getting this attention, or to see if she continues just because she truly is ready to change, not because she's afraid to lose subscribers and her income, you know. But anyway, you know, now is not the time. Now is not the time. The support that anybody gives her right now on her channel, contributing to her getting more revenue, is only going to kill her. And that is going to enable her more than Becky, because Becky doesn't have money. Us watching her, her audience watching her, is what gives her money. You know, and even though it's not our intention to enable her, it's not our intention to kill her faster, because we're watching her, giving her money. It's not our intention, but that is what is going to happen. That's what's happening. So anyway, those are my thoughts. You know, take it or leave it. But again, you know, she's not there. This is not the time. But I wanted to share an inspiring story. And this is something I want to start doing regularly on my channel. It's just sharing inspiring stories of people that I've met throughout the years, worked with throughout the years, known throughout the years, and just people that have faced really, really significant adversity, and have really had to really fight the temptation to victimize themselves, even if what they're dealing with is something that is of no fault of their own. And I want to share these stories because I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like what inspires us, or what just inspires people in general, like I feel like our standards are kind of lowering for what inspires us. And I'll explain that a little bit more after this story. But so I had a friend that came out to Vegas. And, you know, so I live here, obviously, you know, we wanted to see each other, and we had dinner together. And so we met for dinner, and she was telling me that she was exhausted because she had to get up at 2:30 in the morning. And I said, wow, why did you have to get up at 2:30 in the morning? Most people in Vegas are going to bed at 2:30 in the morning. But she said, well, you know, I'm here with my sister and all my friends. And my sister is going through dialysis right now because she had a kidney failure. And I don't remember what the sequence of events exactly was that caused her to have kidney. I can't remember. She told me, but anyway, she said, so, you know, while we're here, because I think they were going to be here for like 10 days or maybe even 2 weeks. It was going to be a long stay here. She said, while we're here, she needs to get dialysis 3 days a week for like 4 hours, and you know, we have to be there at like 4 in the morning. And I was like, wow. And at first I automatically assumed her sister lived here. I said, I wanted to know she lived here. I thought she lived. She said, no, she doesn't. You know, I mean, she lives in Hawaii. And I was like, so how, I mean, how did she arrange that? How did, you know, like, why is she here if she needs to get dialysis, you know? And she said, well, you know, luckily her insurance was able to accommodate her so that she could come to a clinic here, which is wonderful, you know, to have that type of insurance. You know, she obviously had great insurance, but she said, you know, we had planned this trip a long time ago before she got sick. And, you know, she was actually she's on a waiting list for a kidney transplant because my friend, her kidney did not match where she could donate to her sister. Otherwise, she would have done it in a heartbeat. But she said, we had already planned this trip, and she said, I'm not going to let this ruin it for me. Because obviously, you know, having experienced kidney failure, going through dialysis, there's a lot of complications, a lot of things that can happen, go wrong, where she could die. And she felt like, you know, I just want to enjoy life. I'm not going to let this stop me. Obviously, she's still going to have limitations, but she was like, I'm still going to enjoy life, you know. And she was like, you know, I'm so inspired by my sister because her attitude is just absolutely amazing. And just, you know, she is not allowing herself to feel sorry for herself, even though this was of no fault of her own. It's not because she was obese and got an infection and her kidney failed. No, that's not what happened at all. My friend and her sister are healthy people. They always have been. Never did drugs, drank, or, you know, nothing like that. So it's just, you know, she got dealt a bad hand, you know, as far as in that sense, you know. But again, I can't remember exactly what happened to cause her to go into kidney failure. I can't remember, but anyway, I remember, so after that, she treated me to go see the Michael Jackson 1 show at Mandalay Bay, which I highly recommend if you're a Michael Jackson fan. But, so after that, you know, after I came home, after spending that evening with her, I really thought about it. And I thought, wow, you know, because I thought about, number one, all the times I've gotten so bitter and angry at the universe, God, the world, everybody, everything, because I have to deal with the illnesses that I deal with. Number two, how many times I allowed myself to just miss out on life because I was in pain and I was uncomfortable and I just didn't feel like pushing through. And granted, sure, there are times when, you know, anybody with chronic illness, regardless of what it is, there are times, yeah, you legitimately just cannot push through. But there are times where, you know, maybe I probably could have, but I just didn't want to. I felt lazy, whether it was lunch with a friend or whatever. I didn't want to push through, you know, and I missed out on experiencing life. You know, even lunch with a friend, you know, that's something, that's a one activity in life that's very enjoyable. Something as simple as having lunch with a friend. And that I've just, you know, allowed myself to instead feel sorry for myself or angry or frustrated when here is this girl having to go through dialysis 3 times a week for 4 hours, waiting for a kidney transplant, hoping that she'll get one. It could be years. It could be years before she gets one. And it really inspired me, you know. And, you know, because I know a lot of times, especially for those of us that have chronic illness, it is hard for us to push through. It is hard for us to, you know, just make that effort, you know, to spend time with a friend or to attend an event or what have you. And again, granted, there are times that we do need to rest. It does not mean that our pain isn't valid. Just because, you know, she's going through what she's going through doesn't mean that, you know, what we're going through doesn't matter. You know, that's not what I'm saying at all. But, you know, the next time you feel frustrated or angry, or, you know, there's an event that's happening and, you know, you could kind of push through, but, you know, you're kind of like, I don't know, I just don't want to. I just, you know, think about her, you know, think about her and think about, you know what, you know, there's people out there that are suffering just like I am. And, you know, they're not letting it stop them from enjoying life. And that's one thing that I really stress with my clients, my Facebook group, my viewers, whatever, regardless of what ailments, limitations, illnesses you suffer from, never let it stop you from enjoying life. And I'm not saying that means you need to be coming to Vegas for 2 weeks, and that's not what I mean. That was just her vacation. But even if it means, you know, pushing through to go have lunch with a friend that you haven't been able to see for a long time, and, you know, the majority of the time when we do push through it, we don't regret it. The majority of the time, we're happy that we did it. We were happy to spend time, you know, with that person that we really love seeing. We were happy to go to that event that was very entertaining and a lot of fun. You know, even with Lyft, there are a lot of nights I don't want to drive, but, you know, obviously I have to push myself for financial reasons. But aside from that, You know, most nights, once I get in the car and people start getting in the car and I start talking to them, I just start feeling better just by their energy and, you know, just being out there, you know, being out there, meeting people and going places and stuff. And it does help me. But then there are nights when I need to stay home. There are nights when I need to end early. You know, it's just a matter of me, you know, being honest with myself. You know, can I push myself tonight, or am I just allowing myself to fall into my depression, or, you know, what have you, and when I could be going out and doing something and, you know, making money and having fun, you know, or whatever. So, but you know, guys, I really want to share that story, and I want to, again, share more stories, because I feel like I'm starting to see a culture, especially on YouTube, of people that are inspired by people that are doing things that they simply should be doing. Like, I know that there's several people that are deciding to do YouTube channels, of people that are morbidly obese are deciding to do YouTube channels that they want to inspire people because they want to lose weight and make changes, or, you know, what have you. And I think that's wonderful. It's encouraging. I applaud them if I see them making changes. If they really are, or are they just doing this because they know they'll get a lot of views because they're really large. So they know if they put themselves on the thumbnail, they'll get a lot of views. And they're going to act like, you know, they're losing weight just so they can, you know, get subscribers and make money on YouTube. But I mean people that are actively changing. You are seeing the change. You are seeing the weight loss. You are seeing the increase in strength and activity. It's becoming apparent that they are working very hard and making significant changes. But I feel like there are people on YouTube that aren't really trying that hard and are still getting a lot of encouragement and, I guess, like ass pats from people, and people saying, oh, I'm so inspired by you just because this person has decided that, oh, you know, I'm going to now start exercising 5 minutes a day instead of sitting around in my house all day or laying in bed all day. And instead of, you know, sitting around and eating very unhealthy food and making poor choices, you know, that people say, oh, I'm so inspired by that. For me, I applaud it. I do. I applaud it. I think it's awesome. I'm encouraged by it, but I can't say I'm inspired by it, because these people are just doing what they should be doing. They're doing what a normal human being should be doing, which is not indulging in unhealthy behavior and making an active choice to be active and take better care of themselves, because they have spent decades or years making horrible choices. And, you know, again, when it comes to who inspires you, when it comes to who you think about when you're, you know, having a really hard time get through a day, or whether it doesn't, not even people that have chronic illness, I'm talking to anybody, you know, if you're having a hard time in life and getting through a day and whatever, you know, you really want to have high standards of who inspires you and who you aspire to be like, you know, because personally, I'm not inspired by somebody that, again, is morbidly obese because they've made horrible choices and now they're, you know, finally exercising 5 minutes a day, which again, I applaud it. I think it's awesome. I'm not inspired by them because I push through and do a lot more than that. You know, it's kind of like if somebody like is a millionaire and they came from very humble beginnings and they had to work very, very hard, you know, for their wealth and what they've achieved, and they've done it on their own. And then there's somebody that made really bad financial choices, had to file for bankruptcy, and they're trying to rebuild their credit and they're making better choices, and, you know, they've saved their first $1,000. The millionaire, you know, that made different choices and sacrificed and worked hard for what they have, we'll applaud them and say, that's awesome. I'm encouraged. It's so wonderful to see people making good financial decisions, but they're not going to be inspired by them because they've been able to accomplish more and they made better decisions, and where they didn't have to go into debt. And I'm not saying going into debt means you're irresponsible. I know there's a lot of reasons why people go into debt, and it isn't always because you're irresponsible. So, you know, I totally get that. But, you know, again, be encouraged, you know, and encourage people that are working towards those goals, but have high standards for those people. Have high standards, you know, because when I work with my clients, I don't care where they're starting from. I don't care. If they tell me, Charlene, I was able to exercise for 5 minutes, and I'll say, that's great, that's awesome, but we need to get to 10 minutes this week. Like that's my response. You know, that's awesome, you know, but we can't stay there. I need to see progress. I expect progress from you, and I expect significant progress. Again, it's going to be at a pace that's appropriate for them, but it needs to be at a pace that will challenge them. And so again, I'll give an ass pat. Of course I will say, oh, yeah, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's fantastic. All right, this week we're going to do 10. And then by the end of the month, you're going to be doing 30 minutes of a consistent activity. And if we're consistent, there's no reason why you can't get there. And, you know, that's just the type of standard that I have. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my story. And I hope it inspired you. You know, I hope it did. Because, again, I don't want you to start having videos that are just about Amberlyn or anybody, really. But, you know, I want to have videos that people can go to and be like, oh, that's really encouraged, you know, that helped me, you know, get through my day or whatever, you know. So, okay, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate your time and attention. Remember, take care of yourself, protect yourself physically and emotionally. Don't forget, your health is your most valuable asset. Invest in it. Bye-bye.